and listeners. I would like to start off by saying this is a very rare opportunity to discuss this very important question that has been posed to me: on whose responsibility is it to ensure food safety in a food production industry? I'm Dr. Duncan Elliot Tembo. You see, I have had an opportunity to work in the food producing industry for a number of years. And yeah, I find this question very interesting. It's a very important question. But obviously, before I look at, who is responsible, let me start off by, just looking at the role that food plays, in our lives. Next to water and air, food is the most used. You will notice that we do engage with food a number of times in a day. We would eat in the morning, would eat at lunch, in between, all the way up to the time when we, get back to sleep. And it's very important. It is food, that provides us with energy, that powers us. It is food that provides us with, all the protective requirements. It's food that supports our systems, and that's how important it is. Considering, the role that food plays, considering, the number of times that we have to access it, in a day, the need to ensure that this food is of good quality and that it is safe cannot be overemphasized. You will notice that if food is not of good quality, or if food is not safe, it can actually cause much more serious damage. It can cause multiple fatalities at once, probably more than the number of lives that a gun can take. A gun would even be limited, by the radius. But when you look at the, connectedness, you'll find that food that is produced in one country ends up in, a lot of other countries, and a lot of people access it. So yeah, the impact can be quite significant. Companies that produce food, obviously quality and food safety is a number one priority. And you will notice that, they have got structured way of ensuring that quality and food safety is managed. Some have implemented management systems, and there are many management systems that you would find on the market. both on the quality side but also on the food safety side. There are international standards such as, ISO 22000, ISO TS, FSSC itself, among others. And you can tap into any of those and they'll provide a framework, of what needs to be done. Even more, each country has got legal requirements, that defines what every, food producer the requirements that they should comply with. And all that becomes, the cornerstones. Even more, every producer, you can't manage what you have not identified, or you can't manage what you cannot measure. So in this case, the most important thing is to understand what are the food safety hazards. What are those things that have got potential to impact negatively the quality or the safety of those products, food products that are being produced. And that becomes the starting point. Obviously these hazards will come in different forms. They can be chemical hazards, mechanical hazards, biological hazards, mention it. And there are various tools on the market, that every organization can tap into to be able to conduct these risk assessments. They are tools or systems like HACCP, hazard analysis and critical control points. There are tools, like VASIP, which also helps identify the vulnerability, of the products that are being produced. There is also TACIP, which helps you understand, the threats, that your products may be exposed to. And from there, the information that you gather, the hazards, the vulnerabilities, the threats will inform, what actions needs to be taken to bring these risks to a level that is acceptable, or to eliminate them completely where it is possible to eliminate them. Getting back to the question, whose responsibility is it? It is everybody's responsibility to ensure food safety. And obviously, you can only appreciate this position if you see yourself in the food. Like I said, food is everything to every person. But even if it's not you who is going to consume it, someone who is closer to you, someone who is related to you, either by blood or by friendship, may have access to that. And the last thing you want to do is to fail to do what you are supposed to do to make food safe, or to do what you are not supposed to do, that would impact on food safety, and ultimately it affects somebody. There is this interesting illustration, so the ambulance was going on the road and this gentleman was driving. The alarm was on, but he couldn't give way to the ambulance. He kept on, blocking it. And they lost a bit of time until finally it passed and I think got where it was going. But this guy was surprised when he got to his home that actually that's where the ambulance was going. And that delay, that impact worsened the situation of what they were following. from there he learned a big lesson, because whatever the ambulance was going for affected him directly. He regretted his action because it was someone who was dear to him or to her. And that's the way these things are. What we fail to do or what we do can impact the quality or the safety of food. An example would be just failing to wash your hands. May result in a situation where the products are contaminated. And whoever consumes that, even if it's not yourself, but someone who is closer to you. Just think about, your child, your relative, your mother, your father. They get affected. Remember that these can even lead to fatalities. And it's discovered that it's because you failed to wash your hands. Imagine that, that little baby out there has consumed glass because when you were working in the food environment, you had a bottle that broke and some fragments ended up in the product and you didn't speak about that. So it is everybody's responsibility to ensure quality and food safety. I always tell people to say a person has got 2 eyes. But if you have 200 people, you have got 400 eyes. And that's how much advantage you have. So those numbers should translate into having presence, at all points, to be able to identify anything that has got potential to cause harm, to speak up, to take it out, So it is everybody's responsibility. Whether you are a visitor, whether you are at the shop floor, you are a manager, whatever role you play, we are all very important in ensuring food safety. What we do or what we fail to do can impact quality and food safety. And I would want you to think about this and think about this critically. We all have a duty to ensure quality and food safety. Remember, I said after air, water, food is the next most used, substance. And to that effect, quality and food safety cannot be overemphasized. I would ask that, do your part, provoke others to do the same as well. The more we unite to work together to ensure quality and food safety, we will make our products safe wherever we are working from. Thank you for that question, and I hope you have gotten something out of it. Once again, I'm Dr. Duncan Elliott Tembo. Thank you for listening.